Mask just for the photo? Would that be allowed?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That didn't take long. COVID hypocrite Nancy Pelosi already breaking her new mask rules. Republicans slamming the speaker for what they call a massive abuse of power in the House. Republican lawmakers protesting the new rules after a Capitol Police memo said staffers and visitors could be arrested for not covering their faces. And police are backing away from that order, but lawmakers could still face hefty fines, and they aren't happy.
We will not comply. You know, Nancy Pelosi has opted to rule as Speaker of the House more as a tyrant than a Speaker of the People's House.
Nancy Pelosi is totally off the rails. She has gone totally nuts on this thing.
That's what the American people don't want to see anymore, is this kind of tyrannical behavior by the people who are running our institutions.
That comes as the CDC finally releases the data justifying its 180 on masks. Documents say the Delta variant can spread as easily as the chicken pox, and vaccinated people can become infected and may be able to spread it. But the CDC also says breakthrough cases are still uncommon, and the data is preliminary. Thanks. And as the New York Post points out, out of 161 million vaxxed, 5,601 caught breakthrough COVID and were hospitalized, and just 1,141 died, or 0.0007%. All right, Greg, you have more likelihood of dying in a car crash than you do of dying from COVID if you're vaccinated. So I don't think anybody should drive anymore.
Yeah, I don't even think it's close on that. But what gets me mad is that you can be arrested. They were saying you could be arrested for not wearing a mask. Meanwhile, you could shoplift $900 worth of stuff from California over and over in California at any place and not be arrested. You can mug and assault people in New York City. You'll be out before the paperwork is done. But you can go to jail if you're not wearing a mask in D.C. What do you tell your cellmate? It's not very impressive when you're put in. They go, so what are you in here for?
What are you in here
I didn't
for?
wear a mask. And the worst thing is, when this story was originally came out, the staffers could be arrested, but not the actual House members. So think about that is pure political privilege. You want an example of systemic inequality? That's it. I mean, imagine you're walking with your boss and neither of you are wearing masks and you're not going to wear them. And the officer says, well, I got to take you, but you can stay.
I actually like that part.
Of course, because you would throw your staff under the bus at any moment. But we know that this inequality exists in politics. In fact, it's the most compelling reason to become a politician is to become exempt from the rules that you yourself create. And so that's why Gavin Newsom gets to party without his mask, and Hunter Biden gets to violate gun laws, and politicians can fix secret problems. You can drive off a bridge with a woman and she could die, and you can still have a political career. That's why they're in politics, to get away with murder, figuratively and literally.
Richard, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with Greg. I mean, you could not release your tax returns to the people and still not go to jail
That's
either.
not the same thing.
You knew that was coming, though.
That's too obvious.
Of course. So you knew it was coming. I told you. You said it was coming. But listen, here's the thing. I think we have to figure out how we got here first, which is the larger question, right? How did we get to the point where we're back at mask? And the reason why we're back at mask is because we have there's people in this country that are unvaccinated. And unvaccinated people are spreading the Delta variant.
That's not true. We're back at...
Why are we back at mask, then, if it's not because of the spread of COVID-19?
We are back at the mask because we don't have a plan.
But are you denying that COVID-19 is not spreading in the current moment?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Okay,
that people who are vaccinated should not be wearing masks.
Of course, but how do you verify somebody's vaccinated versus somebody who's not vaccinated?
You ask them, and that's how this country rolls.
But the problem here is you can't have your cake and eat it too on this particular case, because what you have...
Leave the cake out of it, Richard.
Fair. You can't have your apples and eat it too. I don't care what analogy you want to use here, but you can't say, we don't want any masks, we don't want any lockdowns, and we're also not going to take the vaccine. You can't have all three of those things at the same time, because if you do that, you have increase in hospitalizations, you have an increase in death, which is what's happening in parts of the country.
No one's saying that.
I would love to answer some of Richard's questions.
Yeah, please, because I don't think Richard masks up wherever he's supposed to.
I was just on a flight and I had my mask on.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about on the ground.
Yeah, I go to the grocery store with my mask on because
first of all,
do not. I've seen you out there.
The reason we
You
have
live in D.C. How have you
I've seen
me?
you.
Okay.
I have people.
Oh, wow, sure.
you guys spies everywhere. Well, the first reason we have Wuhan coronavirus and COVID in the first place is because of the Chinese Communist Party and because people like Dr. Fauci trusted the World Health Organization early on, and therefore we never actually found out what really happened, and therefore we had a hard time combating this from the very beginning. In terms of why we are wearing masks now, according to the CDC director, she says that vaccinated people are now infecting other vaccinated people. So that is the justification, as she said, the main reason why they issued these additional mask mandates after reversing them from their decision just 2 months ago. I think we need to pump the brakes on the panic here. If you look at the data of who is susceptible to death or hospitalization, even without the vaccine, if you are from ages 18 to 64, you have a 99.5% of surviving COVID-19 without a vaccine. That's from the CDC. Those are the numbers. If you're over 65, your risk goes up for death or hospitalization. In terms of the new variant for Delta, the media is panicking and recklessly reporting it as there are more cases, more hospitalizations. The hospitalized are unvaccinated, and the breakthrough cases are not serious illness. So the standard has moved to cases are people just getting sick rather than having a very serious illness, and they're creating panic out of it because it's good for the media. And the CDC has been terrible on the messaging on this. We've been talking about it all week. So if you want to talk about why we're back here, it's because the standards have moved and they are treating people in a way that doesn't allow them to have civil liberties and not listening to their concerns about why maybe people won't get vaccinated.
Well, and even